Yes, yes, yes. Phenomenal morning, guys. Listen, I am your host, Sean Wright East. This is your Breakfast with the Brand, guys. It's going to be a motivational morning, right? It's not motivational Monday or anything like that. I promise you, we don't do those things, right? But it's going to be a good morning. I think it's going to be a good morning. On the back end, we kind of opened up with some levity. Phenomenal morning. Travis, how you doing, brother?
I am doing absolutely spectacular this morning. I can't thank you enough for helping me out with this routine.
Oh.
Thank you for instilling that. Thank you for the community, because that really goes a long way. By the time noon comes around, having more than half of my day knocked out. Thank you for sharing that secret.
Yes, yes, you're very welcome. Very welcome. I always say that it is a privilege, duty, and an honor to be of service, right? Privilege, duty, and an honor. It's big on me to give back, right? It's huge on me to give back. It's huge on me to show applied faith, not just faith, right? But applied faith. I always say that I'm just a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor and mercy through. And that's a fact. Like, I've been shown so much grace, favor, mercy, forgiveness, assistance that if I don't give it back, then it stops with me. Right. And I believe that a proper steward of resources, gifts, blessings, it's supposed to flow through, it's supposed to flow freely through you. You're supposed to become a vessel as opposed to a hoarder or someone who stockpiles information or stockpiles revenue and stockpiles opportunity. I'm not about that. I'm all about becoming a conduit. And I believe that my blessings continue to come because I become a blesser of others and a leader and a teacher and a sharer and a sacrificer unto others. I believe that servant leadership is the only way that you'll continue to be blessed. So as you thank me, I thank you.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's just for everybody, right? So like I said, guys, it's going to be a real interesting morning. Trust me, you'll never know. I like what you just said, Travis, because you never know what you don't know. And a lot of people see us here, or they'll even see you here for the first time, not knowing who you are, your origin story, your why you're here and whatnot. And just the power differential is present, right? The power differential is present. They don't know how long you've been doing this. They're like, oh, okay, Travis Klein, Sean Rice, let's go, right? So it's the same thing with me. Like, I'm always looking up and saying thank you as well. And that's what we need to be mindful of this morning, that everybody's in a process. Everybody's in a process, even if you just started yesterday, guys. If you chose to change your life yesterday and you're like, you know what? I'm looking for something positive. I'm going to be a part of something positive, and you're getting here for the first time today with a new initiative, a new site, a new mission statement for your life. Let's go. Let's go. More power be unto you. And we both now are happy, pleased with the pleasure, the opportunity, the dignity, and the duty to be of honor and be of service. That's what this is about, guys. This is a service. Like, on the back end, there's no compensation. Like, we're not, this is not for praise. This is not for, like, the money follows movement. Money follows movement. A lot of people see billion-dollar brand and they're like, oh, wow, okay, great. So we're going to monetize this. There's going to be an offer. There's not always an offer except of growth and opportunity. That's always present. The offer of growth and opportunity is always present, right? But I believe that monetization comes from optimization. Monetization comes from optimization. So we don't worry about the revenue. The revenue will take care of itself as long as we are dutiful in building the relationship. Building the relationship and becoming a resource. Become a resource, guys. You might want to start writing this stuff down, guys. Becoming a resource will be the key to your resources and your revenue. Seriously, become a resource for other people and watch what happens with the revenue. I've always said from the very beginning, and we're going to go to a break, but real quick, I just want to put this out there. Like, I've always said and lived my life by this credo. Money follows movement. Put meaningfulness over money, put value over valuation, and put people over profit. Put people over profit, and the profit will come. Most people, they hear me, they see the king of branding, they know about the closing like a leader, and they're like, Sean, how do I make more money? They know about the revenue, the add a zero, the quickest, the digits. And it's like they're overwhelmed with these big ideas of monetization and like, how can I make money as fast as possible? And I say all the time, and this sometimes hurts people's feelings and their expectation. I say, you need to slow down to go fast. You need to slow down to speed up. And I think we were talking about that a little bit yesterday when it came to caution. When it came to caution and when it came to managed aggression. You spoke to managed aggression. We're always talking about discipline here. Discipline. In that 4D framework, you have to make a decision, but after you make a decision, you have to apply discipline to give it time to develop so that you can dominate. But I see a lot of times in business is chihuahuas, Travis. And you probably see it in trading too. You see a bunch of chihuahuas, they got the Napoleon complex. They just started yesterday. They just said, I'm coming in here and I'm going to crush it and I'm going to kill it and I'm going to dominate. And you're like, hold on, small fry, you're going to hurt yourself. Hold on, small fry, you're going to hurt yourself. Give us a lesson real quick before we go to a break. Give us a lesson of someone who once came in a little bit premature, tried to crush the game and got their legs broken in the process.
Unfortunately, that unit of the trading war is at max capacity. I see it in numerous groups because as a community, as having my own community, I'm still a part of other communities as well. So with that, it's almost like the concept of hot. How a baby has to learn that concept of hot for themselves. It doesn't matter how much a parent can love on the child and want to protect them and want the best for them and want them to not get burned. But it's almost like a rite of passage for the trader. Eventually it's going to happen. However, you want it to happen under a controllable or a controlled environment so that at least when it does happen, it already has a system in place, as you will. So with that and coming into it, I just wanted to go back to something you said before about getting started. It wasn't until you took the wool off my eyes to realize that I was in a position to actually help more people other than myself. So I wanted to, again, thank you for that. And everyone that's watching this today, I'm almost certain there's something that you are already good at and already doing that you can reach back and help somebody else to do.
Yes, sir. Come on, let's go. The concept of hot. Guys, we'll be back. This is The Breakfast with the Brand. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. I said Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire and heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence. Listen, that competence piece, man. It was kind of what you were saying before we went to the break about everybody having a competency, everybody having a skill set that if they chose to apply the faith, they could easily reach back and bring up somebody else, right? So I just want to shout out a couple people real quick before we get into it. I see Lawana, Jordan, I see Bradley, I see some people on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Guys, we are everywhere, right? That's that omnipresence piece. We are everywhere except for IG. We got to get IG going, guys. Send them some emails. Tell them they need to be on StreamYard. They need to let us go ahead and go live on IG at the same time without pulling up the phone. A lot of things going on the phone. But anyway, right? The competence piece. The competence piece. And, you know, competence is learned. It's funny because I'm actually putting together the last piece for Branded Like a Leader 2.0. Right. That's what I was doing this morning. Last piece for Branded Like a Leader 2.0, high net worth individuals, $1 billion brand. Right. $1 billion brand. And we're talking in this piece about pricing confidence. Pricing confidence. So a lot of people have an issue when it comes to their numbers. When I say add a 0, it's like, how can I add a 0 to a number? You know, most of my clients come to me, Travis, you probably might have been included in this. They'll come to me with a program, an idea, and they'll be like, well, it's $500 for whatever. And I'm like, no, let's add a 0 to it and make it 5,000. Or they'll come to me with something a little bit more evolved and say, okay, we've got this program and this idea for $5,000. And I'm like, no, let's see if we can make it 50 and see what we need to add to it or bring out of you to put in it to make it 50 to increase the value, right? Because again, you can't just add a 0 to a number without adding a 0 to you. And that means increasing your competence. Most people hand over fist come to me with everything that they need to be successful in business. They just don't know how to utilize it. So how does that translate over to the trading space and the financial management space where people have these internal competencies, but they're still unconfident?
Well, it's really quite basic. Trading in and of itself is a very simple process. It's literally just clicking a button. So once you know what you're looking for, once you know what the starting line of entering a trade looks like, once certain things happen, that's like the official raising the gun in the air and firing that shot to let everyone know that the race has begun. What really comes into play is what we talked about before when going back to the 4D. So it's very interesting how this, what I've learned from you and your teachings, ties in so intimately with trading. So they've made the decision to get involved in the world of trading. However, they're lacking the discipline as far as the GPS goes. So, like a common mistake that happens in the world of trading is greed kicks in. A novice trader will enter a trade, and they entered it for a certain amount of time. Let's just say 15 minutes, for instance. However, after 15 minutes, that time has come and they should have already left. They see more opportunity on the table, and they'll overstay their welcome. And when they overstay their welcome, that profit that they made, they see it begin to disappear. And sometimes, on the worst of worst, it not only disappears, but it leaves them with a tab at the end of the day.
Ooh. Okay, so let me ask this question. For everybody that's watching and might not be aware. In trading, like in business, or the correlations, that's why it's familiar, right? That's why it's familiar. That's why it resonates. That's why it works, right? The frameworks that we come up with for business work over in trading, because I believe that it doesn't make a difference the business that you're in. Business stays the same. Products change. Products change, but business stays the same, especially the psychology to be successful. There's a psychology for 7 prerequisites for success. But let me ask you this. So you can do worse than actually lose it all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can lose your entire investment. And then if you don't have a solid strategy going into it, a plan, the same way you set goals in business, you have to set goals in trading. And a failure to do that, what happens is the emotions get involved because you see the charts fluctuating up and down. And with that, the heart starts to pumping, the different hormones in the body get to going. Fear starts to set in, and then you're not thinking rationally. So what happens is, and of course the market is, all this stuff is baked in. They know that's going to happen. So they're sort of counting on you to do that so that you can be a easy target, sort of say. So if you
You're
come
playing
in,
on your emotions.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Not if you think anything otherwise, you got to go back to the drawing board, because there's a lot to know about trading, and a lot of what used to be true isn't necessarily true anymore when we fast forward into the day and age that we are right now, dealing with AI and algorithms. So the days of trading against other people is pretty much long gone.
So who are you trading against now?
You're trading against the algorithm. You're trading against a supercomputer. You're trading against institutions. You're trading against something that's far beyond just you and I. So the methods that are out there that you've probably heard of, some of the more popular ones, dealing with just throwing some stuff out there like RSI and Bollinger Bands, and there's just so many different indicators and things of that nature. All that stuff is secondary. There's a fundamental ABC, sort of say, that come to trading before even touching any of that stuff. That stuff is just like the decorations. Those are just the accessories you put on the car. You have to go back to a foundational point to actually get started. And unfortunately, that's one of the misdirections that's in the market, that, like you talked about, that we talked about before, it'd be akin to a magician. The magician doesn't really know magic. They just know how to get you to look a different way while they're doing what it is they're really doing.
Sleight of hand.
Absolutely.
Sleight of hand. My father taught me 3-card Molly when I was young. You know, he'd have the 3 cards. He'd have the 2 black and the 1 red, or the 2 red and the 1 black. He'd be like, find the black, Sean, find the black. And he'd throw his hand like this. He'd be like, watch my hand now, watch my hand. He'd throw the card down. I could never catch it. He showed me how to, though. So I began to catch it a little bit later on. And I remember doing the same thing with my sons. Now I'm with the cards. I'm the father. You know, time changed. I'm like, here, watch the cards, watch the cards. And at the same time, you always do something with the other hand to make them look away, or as soon as they look away, you boom, right? So I love that. I love that analogy of the sleight of hand. You know, I want everyone to understand why I bring out who I do as a guest, right? Because there's a reason why, and it's a process. We don't just bring anybody out on the Breakfast with the Brand and just say, hey guys, it's the Breakfast with the Brand, let's all have fun, right? No, that's not why we're here. Right. We're here to help you. We want to help the people to become better, make more money, add a zero to themselves, their resilience, their dedication, realize their education, experience, and expertise can be translated into impact, income, and independence. So one of the things that I want to help happen is leadership transfer, right? A leadership transfer. We talk about changing the face of leadership. Same thing with economy, an economy transfer. Right now, there is a multi-trillion-dollar wealth transfer taking place, guys. I've said this for the past 4 years, 5 years. And this is why when COVID happened, I was in a state of preparedness because I've been looking for this for a while. I don't follow the sleight. I follow the hand. I don't follow the sleight. I'm not distracted. I don't get distracted. I stay disciplined. I stay focused, right? So I'm going to bring people out who have knowledge of things that you want to have knowledge of. So that's why Travis is here. That's why Travis is here. That's why we're getting him comfortable going live and being on camera, because he has a wealth of information in a new language that he's talking. People talk about Bollinger Bands and RSIs, and people are like, that sounds like Sanskrit or hieroglyphics. Like, I don't even know how to pronounce the word. It sounds so, you know, ancient. Like it's a different language. It's a coded language. And we have a question from a Keishan who asks, how do you assess a good or legit Bitcoin to invest in? Now, that's a question that Sean Ra'is would not be able to answer. I wouldn't even try. So you got to know who you are and stay in your lane too, and try not to be a jack of all trades, because you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. So, Travis, are you qualified to answer that question?
Me personally, my expertise is in stock options. So crypto is a different financial instrument. However, in the realm of Bitcoin, it's mostly in the speculative stages other than Bitcoin, because it's been around so long and so established. So the other, what they call altcoins, like the Dogecoin, so on and so forth, what those really are, those coins are symbolic of the companies that they represent. So it's really more so looking into their technology and whether or not that's something you believe in, can get behind, and stand for, as far as whether that's something you want to invest in or not. Because oftentimes there's a movement, sort of say, or a set of morals or values or principles that these companies stand for or represent as far as what they're looking to get done. So by you investing in that coin, you're supporting that movement and helping them to move in whatever that direction is.
Wow. I'm going to say it again. Wow. Right. There's something that I learned and something that I believe in very strongly. It's called CSR. CSR, corporate social responsibility. I learned about this probably, I want to say maybe 8 years ago now. In college, they talked about corporations, organizations, and their CSR initiative, their corporate social responsibility initiative. So we're talking about a company like maybe, I don't know, Rolex. Let's just say Rolex. Let's say Rolex has a greenhouse gas initiative, which means you buy a Rolex, $50,000, and a percentage of that, maybe $500, is given to the social responsibility towards clean air. So the organization becomes an expression model for the individual's morals, values, and principles. We want to leave the world a better place than we came. We want to leave the world a better place than the world that was given to us, or there's no reason for us to be here. That's what I was talking about in the beginning, Travis, about being a steward and being a vessel, and blessing others as I have been blessed, so that I can continue to be a blessing and get the blessing as well, right? You want everybody wants the blessings, but the problem is a lot of people don't continue it. So it stops with them. And when it stops with them, then it stops coming. And people wonder why. Why am I not getting blessed anymore? Because you're not being a blessing to anybody. That's why. So these organizations have taken on the same mindset and become a blessing where, okay, Rolex is not cheap. Not at all. Phenomenal piece of craftsmanship, hardware, technology, but there are other watch companies that kind of do the same thing. They all tell time. So how can you justify the investment of a $50,000 timepiece? And one of those offsets, one of those justifiers could be their CSR initiative. Like, I'm not just buying a Rolex, I'm also contributing to world health. I'm also contributing to clean air. It makes it more comfortable. It makes it more comfortable. It moves from an organization into a mindset. It moves from a watch to a benchmark, to an expression of values. So go ahead. I want you to say that again before we go to the next break, because I think there might be some people that missed that. I caught it, but there may be some people that missed that. Guys, #replay squad. If you're watching this later, listen to what Travis is about to say about this Bitcoin thing. Go ahead. Please say that again.
So as far as the digital currencies go, the different cryptocurrencies, what we want to keep in mind with doing this, first and foremost, this is not my expertise. This is just general information. With being in the world of trying to get involved in cryptocurrency, we have to understand that they're still at a highly speculative stage, which means there's essentially not a whole lot of data on it. They haven't really been around. There's not a lot of tenure. There haven't been enough earnings calls, which happen quarterly, for them to give their results on how they're doing. So you don't have a long track record or history to go back and look at as far as doing analysis goes. So with that, since you don't have all of this data to glean from and to see how they've done as far as past performance, what you have to realize is that you're investing in the morals, values, and principles of that particular company. So each one of these cryptocurrencies has a company or a motive or initiative behind them, or a direction that they're looking to go in. So outside of Bitcoin itself being the staple, sort of say, in that arena, all of the other coins, which are considered, most of them are considered altcoins or alternate coins. These alternate coins represent whatever that movement is. So let's just take, for example, I'll just throw Ripple out there. That's another one people may be familiar with. With Ripple, that was looking to get into the monetary system. So what we have as far as what we use to move money around now, when we do transfers, when we do wire transfers, that particular currency was looking to get into that space to move the money around faster for the bank. So they, instead of it taking, essentially they were looking to shorten the amount of time it takes for wire transfers to go through using their network. So if that's something you believe in, then, for example, you'd invest into a cryptocurrency like XRP, or Ripple is what that one's called. But each one of them have a moral or a social or a direction that they're looking to move into the future.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'll say it again. That's amazing. It really is. And I like wires. And I like wires to be executed expeditiously. So I might have to look at Ripple. Thank you very much, Travis. We'll be right back. This is The Breakfast with the Brand. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaways just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory, I don't talk hyperbole, I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
So when you're young, mommy tells you to play nice. Play nice, Timmy. Let all of the other kids play too. But in business, it's not about playing nice. In business, it's about winning. It's about adding multiple zeros to your revenue. Now, of course, your staff wins. And when you win, other people win. However, when it comes to competition, you absolutely must dominate. You can't play for participation, and you can't play just to get along or just to get by, because business is serious. Business will help you to change the world, or the world will change you. Your people will either win or your people will lose based on your level of leadership, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you know about dominating. All right, guys. So you're getting a dissertation now, right? We went a little light. You were introduced to Travis. You know, he went with Bobby for a couple of days, and then Sean comes out, and we're pulling more and more resources and more information out so that you can actually learn something that is leverageable. So again, the name of the community is Leadership Leverage. And what we do here is help you to develop your leadership skills, of course, but leverage your education, experience, and expertise so we can translate that over into what we call the 3 I's. So from 3 E's to 3 I's, the education, experience, and expertise transmuted through applied faith and execution into impact, income, and independence. So I asked before the break, are you learning something? And I know the answer already. It was a kind of rhetorical because I've learned something. I've learned something since Travis has been talking about the cryptocurrency and the different Bitcoins and the different altcoins and alternative coins and methodologies of currency and money moving, and the vision behind these coins and currency substitutions, if you will, or replacements, if you will. So let me ask you about this, Travis, because there's a lot of speculation about, the demonetization or remonetization or a new monetary system. I know a lot of people are saying cash is almost out, Sean. Cash is almost gone. We're going to be a cashless society. A lot of stores don't take cash. A lot of hotels don't take cash anymore. They don't want cash. I travel a lot. We're actually flying out a little bit later, right? So I go to a lot of different places where they're like, this is not a cash. You can't do that here. And it's almost like, what do you mean you can't do that here? Like, it's like a bad word. It's like cursing. They're like, oh no, you can't curse. This is sacred ground. You pull out cash and they're like, no, this is sacred ground. We don't touch dirty money. And I'm like, And you have to give plastic. But I can remember when plastic was the mark of the beast. And people were like, no, I'm not doing the current. I'm not doing the chips. I don't want a chip in my hand because the chip in the hand is they relate that to the religion. So give us a little bit of, from your vast experience and knowledge when it comes to money, currency, and different things. What's going on, man?
I mean, to be honest, your guess is as good as mine. The thing about trading is you don't try to pretend to know. That's how you make the money. Because as soon as we get rigid, or we have our mind set on, oh, it's going to do this, or oh, it's going to do that, that lack of flexibility is how people end up, what we call in the trading world, blowing your account. And it literally gets blown to smithereens. So as far as what's going on, the markets are very fickle. One day it could be technology. It's really just about where what we call whales. If you've ever heard the term whales, they're the ones that's making the big waves in the money markets. The whales move their money around where they please. They may have information that the general public is not privy to. A lot of business deals and things go on behind the scenes or are written up on napkins. So with us not being privy to that type of information as retail traders, what we often do is we just look for the signs. We look for the clues of what may be happening. And then even then, there's still a strategy to that. And it's not to overstay your welcome. It's to literally just get into a piece of that movement. So if hundreds of millions of dollars are being moved at any given time, if you can just get a piece of that movement, get in and get out, that in and of itself is a viable strategy.
You said some things, and the way my mind works is patterns and cues. I have been around for a little while, right, guys? I may look young, I promise you. I say I'm just a kid from Harlem, but I'm closer to 50 than 20. I won't tell you how close, right? But suffice it to say that I'm closer to 50 than 20. And you let me know if I'm wrong. But what my intuition tells me, based on what you just said, is that if you're trying to make some more money and you notice a huge wave, money movement, that basically would tell me in the water that a whale has passed.
It's that simple.
For ease of efficiency, let's say I'm stranded at sea. You got a little bit of money. I'm stranded at sea. I'm trying to get some more. So I'm trying to get somewhere in my life and business or revenue. See, and as a swimmer, as someone stranded at sea, if I know this nature, if I put myself in the aftertow of the whale, then the wave can carry me without me having to struggle. And wave, I won't have to do too much. I can just get inside of the wave and be carried by the wave a distance. However, if I relax for too long, I'll sink. So I got to notice when the wave has ended. Is that basically what you're saying? Does that make sense?
That is, I couldn't have painted that analogy more perfect myself. You hit it right on the head.
Huh. So it has a lot to do with intuition then. Because you have to know when the wave has stopped. Because some people, like you said, they'll get greedy or they'll want to ride the wave a little bit longer, but then there won't really be a wave anymore. That'll be you sinking. But you won't notice it because your mind says it's the optimism thing. It's the dopamine thing. It's the drug effect where you're like, I'm crushing it now. But the wave has been passed and you're still there and you're actually sinking and the sharks are coming.
Absolutely. And we see it in trading in the terms of volume. So the volume of the wave, so to say, or being able to swim in that aftermath, as you painted that analogy so artfully, in trading, when you begin to see the effects of that wave begin to diminish when the volume begins to dwindle.
Very good. Very good. Guys, again, share this out because, and let me say this too. There's a lot of millennial millionaires, man. There's a lot of young people capturing this information. Crypto is all they've ever known. They're the same kind of people that are like these establishments that are like, I don't want to touch dirty money and ugly money, right? I'm more into the new currency. They speak a new language. This is a language that we are going to have to know. Like we said yesterday, ignorance to the law is no excuse. So if I walk into one of these cashless establishments and all that I have is cash on me, I won't be served, no matter how many millions I've made. It won't make a difference what's in the bank account. If I don't have the new tool, if I don't have the new technology, if I don't have the new utensil, then I'm basically a dinosaur and I won't be served. So I want you guys to understand how imperative it is that, and let me tell you something just so you understand. Look, guys, I started my business in the basement of a job I hated with the BlackBerry. I am very resistant to new technology. I am very untrusting to new technology. If you've heard the analogies that I made, I remember when the credit card was becoming a modem of currency and people were like, 666, we're not doing it. Anti-crime. Like, no, we're not doing the cat. I used to, you understand, like I've been there. So I understand, but I also understand the modernization of man and the fact that you have to be a forward thinker. And there is a phenomenal, this is how I'm going to tell on my age here. I want to do it tactfully and I don't want to give you too much. However, the Twilight Zone. There is an episode of the Twilight Zone called The Obsolete Man. And you do not want to become the obsolete man. I evolved from the BlackBerry to the iPhone to ensure that I would not become the obsolete man. However much you do not know about what Travis is talking about, however much Sean Rais does not know about what Travis is talking about, we're going to have to enter this foray or be consumed by it because ignorance to the law is no excuse. So you have to know in order to take advantage of the wave that is passing, right? And to ride the wave with the least resistance. You definitely want to know what's going on around you. You definitely want to be, how do you say, up on current events and reading and looking and watching and not caught sleeping. right? So we're going to go to one more break, guys. I just want you to understand like the depth of what this man is saying and why it's so important. The link on the bottom is for you to get in contact with him. The link on the bottom, profittradingacademy.com/contact, is for you to get in contact with him and just have a conversation. Just have a conversation, 15 minutes of your time, so that you can begin to understand this new language and the ABCs of the new game that we're playing. Because ignorance to the law will not be accepted as an excuse.
I said Sean Rye East. I'm proud. I said Sean Rye East. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire and heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple. He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business. We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Guys. When I think of brand you, I think of being your best self, your most authentic. The reason why we were able to crush business, absolutely dominate in business without having the marketing list, without having the email huge list, without having the Facebook ads and the advertising budget, without knowing the algorithm. The reason we were able to do this is because I branded myself. I told my authentic story and I was comfortable in my skin. Why? Because it was that time in the world where everything was shifting. It was 2020, March. So you remember what happened during that time. It was like the world was coming to an end. So you didn't have anything to hold back. So I chose to give everything that I had and be everything that I am. And because I was that, because I branded me, because I was authentic, everything shifted. And people wanted more. And they wanted to know more about me and how they could become more comfortable in their skin. Listen, guys, when you brand you and not what you do, you're gonna add a 0 to the world, but you'll also add a 0 to your revenue. Let's grow. Powerful pieces, man. Powerful, powerful pieces. You know, we went to break talking about the obsolete man. We went to the break talking about ignorance to the law not being an excuse. And one of the things that we went to the break talking about lightly as I said that I chose not to be the obsolete man by going ahead and accepting different methods of technology. And one of the things that I did also was brand myself. When I started talking about branding, Travis, nobody knew what it was. I remember when I started talking about coaching 10, 15 years ago, nobody knew what it was. They were asking me what sport was I coaching in, right? And I promise you, this is exactly the rhetoric that I got. You know, okay, you're a coach. What sport? When I said, you know, brand you and not what you do, and you want to be the brand and you are the brand, people were like, it was like a conundrum. They couldn't understand it. But now, fast forward, you got to be down the block and around the corner. Like, fast forward, everybody's talking about branding, personal brand this, phenomenal brand that. You got to be a brand. You got to be a brand. Everybody's saying what I said 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And this is why, because we were the first ones to the spot, we were able to monetize and become liquid. We were not consumed by the new thing. We became the ambassadors of the new thing. Right. So this is kind of, and I know we talked a little bit on the back end, and you were talking about Sears and Kmart and Blockbuster and how they became the obsolete man in their verticals. So now we're talking about currency and the threat of becoming the obsolete man. Talk a little bit to that. Talk about the replacement piece, because that is happening whether we like it or not.
Absolutely. It happens every single day. And the longer we resist that change, I've always heard it stated that it's either you can take control of life or life is going to take control of you. Or another way to say that is it's either you can create your own life or a life will be created for you. So unfortunately, actually, I don't even have to really add to that. I probably need to sit there and chew on that last part about
Let that pause. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of those pin moments. Go ahead and restate it though for the people that didn't catch it.
So it's either we got two choices in life. It's either we can choose to create the lives that we want, or a life will be created for us. So in that, with the examples given of Sears, Kmart, and Blockbuster, when the writing was on the wall, there was even an instance where Blockbuster had the opportunity to enter a deal with Netflix. Yes. They had an opportunity to buy them out. However, Blockbuster, being who it was at the time, could not see the vision that Netflix had. And I don't want to go too deep because I know we're here at the end, but what that ultimately revolves around is what we're talking about here about becoming the obsolete man, or becoming the obsolete business in this example, because of being reluctant to change. I'm sure we can all look back. We have elders that we can look back at that are set in their ways. We've seen what this looks like. Always find it funny when we see the individuals that just off their attire, you can see that they're almost like stuck in a time capsule.
Woo.
And sometimes those behaviors or things that used to suit us at one time just no longer suit us. So the question is, if you're old enough, you've probably seen some of these waves. You've seen some of these opportunities, just like you mentioned with the credit cards. That could have been an opportunity for you to get in on when it first came about. It was technology. Generally, technology is what carries us forward. So with the credit card, at that time, it was scary. However, to the brazen and to the bold is where the fortunes go. Or as you say, money follows movement. Taking that movement is what got some people paid, while others just, they missed the boat.
Very good, man. Very, very good. This has been a very transformative episode. And this is what happens when people start rolling, right? Travis is on a roll right now. He's finding his groove seriously. Like the whale is right here, and he's kind of in the cut of the wave, right? And that's why the content is getting a little bit more rich, a little bit more deeper. I, as an observant and a conductor of this, I know what it looks like, right? And I want to give you one more analogy before we go, because he spoke to the opportunity that Blockbuster had to buy Netflix out for a very small fee. And if they would have done it, they would have been the forerunners of a new world that we live in and been made trillionaires. Combining those two technologies and leveraging the resources and the customer base that they already had, they would have absolutely taken Netflix to a 10x multiple of what they're experiencing now. But instead of doing that, they thought that they were riding a wave, and they thought that wave would go on forever. But the reality was they were sinking, and they couldn't even see it because they were so high on what they thought was a good life that they thought they couldn't be toppled. You know, there's a thing that's pride cometh before the fall. pride cometh before the fall, right? And there's also a saying that I will allow you to see the heavens before it's all over, right? So I want you to think of, because it was the same thing when COVID happened. The huge organizations, the impersonal organizations, the titans, the monochronistic, the brick and mortar. Listen, we've gone from brick and mortar to click and order. And some people are still resistant. Some people are still resistant, walking around the streets with bags instead of having it delivered to their homes. And some people are applying to jobs, and we're about to go, I promise you, but some people are applying to jobs to organizations that on the paper are gone. They've been gone. All they're doing is getting rid of inventory. So you're hiring yourself for a job that's already off the papers. All they're doing is getting rid of the inventory, the backlog of surplus. And once that happens, your job is no more. So some people are striving and reaching and fighting and clawing and competing for a dead reality that no longer exists. They just can't see it. So be very careful. That's what I'm going to say. Be very, very careful of what you assume. Because you know what they say about the word assume, right? When you assume, you make a blank of you, but I won't let you make a blank of me, right? And that's why Travis is here, right? So we can learn this new information, guys. If you're not ready to sit down, like to have that call, then just go to that link at the bottom and read more. Read more, learn more, familiarize yourself with these new realities and these new technologies, because listen, from the cavemen to the dinosaurs, we've seen it all before. And we honestly, here at Sean Rye East, we don't want you to fall a victim to that which ye know not. So that's why we're going to continue to usher in new technology, continue to change the face of leadership, and continue to bring people in front of you with disruptive and new ideologies, new knowledge, and new information, so that you don't get left behind or become the obsolete man. Travis, you have any last words before you go? You've had a phenomenal week, man. You've had a phenomenal run, man. We might have to change the intro, man, and bring you on a little bit more. We might have to get you your own little segment, man, because I promise you, like a compensation corner or a financial Friday, like there has to be something where people can get this information. We're going to put something together, but go ahead, give the people the last word on this, because, you know, today is your last day. We're sorry to see you go. Love to have you here, man. It's been phenomenal, but go ahead, give the people the last words of wisdom. What would those be?
First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity. And it's very short and sweet. It sums up everything we talked about today, about getting to see the trend, seeing the wave. We've watched them come and go. I can't say it any better than this. There's nothing new under the sun.
Let's grow.